Which Wi-Fi do we use here? No,
I think
no.
yes.
323. Here, no, I don't see a gap on here. Guess you're not welcome. Cast, staff, Wi-Fi, public.
Public, that was it, public.
I'm just making.
Eagles left.
There's not, it was public, so here I am.
Hey, let's see it. Okay, I'd like to bring the meeting to order and ask that roll be called.
Butron,
Here.
Feldman,
Here.
Hall,
Here?
Holthauser,
Here.
Tyra,
Here.
Wagenbach,
Here.
yeah.
Okay, I'd like to ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The board will now move on to the public participation of the meeting. Dr. Dearman will begin with the superintendent's report. Dr. Dearman.
Yes.
First item, graduation promotion ceremonies have been held over the last 3 days with EMS, including last night. High school was out Sunday and Valley on Monday. Went off with a hitch. Thank you to all those involved in the organization of that. Thank you to board members that helped participate in handing out diplomas. Last day of school is tomorrow. Try not to shed a tear. All buildings will dismiss 1 hour early. And then I'd like to conclude with some recognitions. Got a couple retirees here. The first of which, is Mr. Greg Fairchild. Mr. Fairchild would come up. Greg is the principal of Danner. Will be retiring this year for 23 years service to the district. So thank you to him for that. I won't go into great detail, but the thing, the one memory I draw about Greg is actually a recent one. When we were interviewing for his replacement and talking with the interview committee, the one thing that came up time and time again was about family and the cohesiveness of that building and the culture that he has built there. And I think that says a lot about Greg. You hear nothing but good things about Greg for obvious reasons, and his presence will be greatly missed. So congratulations to Grandpa Fairchild. And good luck in your time. And the next one is a pseudo retiree. Kind of a retiree. He is retiring officially. And then we're going to be asking him to come back in his current role, and that's Dr. Scott Adrian. If you would come forward, sir. Just a quick word about Dr. Adrian. Lots of good things that can be said about his dedication, compassion, things he's done for the district. I do have one regret, and that is I didn't move him into the role that he's in now, currently serving sooner, because I think he's really found his niche, and he has done wonderful things, and hopefully the board approves the recommendation tonight to have him continue that in a different role that's similar to that work. So congratulations.
I'm impressed, only one regret, my boss has never said that.
Mr. Felton, that's all I have, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Dearman. At this time, we'll move on to public comments. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board? If so, please raise your hand. I see 1, 2, 3. Okay. Before addressing the board, I'd like to remind you of our process per board policy 2-230, we ask that when addressing the board, please identify yourself and be brief. Comments shall be limited to 5 minutes. The speaker is asked to please conduct oneself with respect and civility towards others. Individuals less than 18 years of age are permitted to address the board if accompanied by his or her parent or guardian. The board typically does not engage in two-way conversations during the public portion of the meeting. Any follow-up response will be addressed by the administration at a later date. To be respectful of others and protect confidentiality, complaints against individuals, staff members, or board members, either named or unnamed, shall not be orally presented to the Board of Education. Such complaints should be put in writing, signed by the person or persons making the charges, and delivered to the Board of Education secretary. At this time, I would like to ask anyone who wishes to address the board to come forward and sign the public participation sheet. Then each speaker may come to the podium and begin by speaking into the microphone and stating their name and the topic they will be addressing. I saw 3 hands. Come on up.
Sorry, handwriting was a little sloppy. I can write that fast.
It's all right.
Mine is worse.
My name is Mackenzie Hoppy. I live in the school district with my husband, Jacob Hoppy. I have 2 children who have autism, and recently I was trying to determine the best place for my son to attend school. So I submitted a FOIA request. The reason I'm here is because my FOIA request was made public. So I felt like it was fair to come before you and explain my intent behind the FOIA and why I did what I did, reflected what I did. Speak into the microphone. So sorry. Thank you. So my son's going to be entering kindergarten. So the first thing I wanted to know was if there was an autistic classroom or program. And what the FOIA revealed, the district, in my opinion, inappropriately calling the life skills class an autism classroom. That's really not an autism classroom at all. This next school year, they will be starting an autistic class for children, but it's only for 5 kids, and right now, 4 of those 5 seats are already filled. So that was my first concern. My second was my son has been receiving ABA therapy for the last 3.5 years. I know Peoria School District has 2 BCBAs on staff. And so I waited and I asked if this district had any BCBA. And what I actually found in a FOIA request from the state was that the school district has paid in total so far $75,000 to a contracted BCBA who works out of Iowa. She has an Illinois license and currently does not have the required license for the state of Illinois. So she has been contracted with the school district and has implemented a program called PEAK, which I think this may be, I'm not sure if this is practical or not, but used within the life skills class. My background is as a master's in therapy, and PEAK is actually taken from an assessment, which is a really long BCB or ABA assessment, and they accommodated this to a classroom setting. But my concern, especially as a therapist, it was informed consent obtained by parents. Where parents even made aware that this program was being used in this class, and also I wonder how data is being collected, if it's written IEPs, and if parents are even aware. Another question I asked was for internal documents of the Dunlap School District, the amount of money the Dunlap School District has spent from 2022 to current school year on school programs and classrooms dedicated to children with autism. The response was no response of records exist, which was shocking. So I'm sure there's been lots of money spent on honors programs and AP programs. But the fact that there was no paperwork on any programs for children on the spectrum with disabilities was shocking. Finally, I asked about the criteria for children who need to go into ED classroom or emotional behavior classroom, because I basically was told that this has become a warehouse for kids with many different mixed disabilities. And so It is appropriate, one of the answers was that students demonstrate variable levels of achievement, which is true, it should be, children should have a social emotional diagnosis to be in that classroom. King's Law basically states that children should not be placed in an emotional behavior classroom for maladaptive behavior. So what was further concerning for me was it talks about further down the intensity of behavior falls within the categories 4 or 5 of the district's intensity scale. I don't know what the district's intensity scale is, but the behaviors are behaviors just because they're maladaptive, because kids are struggling at home or acting out, like, that's not the best place to put these kids. So that's basically it. The purpose of it was to try to gain a better understanding of the school district and the services that I was hoping to provide for my children. However, kind of was inadequate, especially for the amount of money that we spend on taxes and the amount of money the school district has. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Next up, I saw 2 other hands. Yes, sir?
My name is Ted Rozick. I live on Legion Hall Road. My wife, Corey, has been there 36 years. My 3 children, her 3 children, 2 of our grandchildren attend the Dunlap schools from kindergarten all the way through 12. As I'm walking today, and I walk every day for exercise, I noticed that sports balanced construction is stopped. I was informed today the reason it's stopped is the school board wants to make it bigger and move. Well, we've already spent millions on that. I'm sure it's just a problem. My biggest problem that I have is I was at this meeting when you guys approved this, and I don't see any work being done around the way grades. 2/3 of my tax money goes to pay for the school, goes into the school. I'm more than happy to pay to educate children. This kind of stuff to me is just not necessary, especially when you've got a school that's 80 years old, should have been replaced 15 years ago, and I still don't see any construction work at Round Way grades. So I'd like to know why no one anymore, any school, meetings at the village do, no one says no. I would really like to see someone on some of these boards go no. What is necessary and what is wanted are 2 different things. What I was told today was you seem to want to make this thing as big as a football. I don't see the reason. I never saw the reason. But that's just my opinion. I'm happy to pay to educate children. I'm not happy to pay so kids don't have to run outside. So, because we ran outside when I was a kid and didn't see the kid. Thank you very much.
Thank you. One other person?
Hi, my name is Annalise Huntington. I'm a parent of 4 boys here in the school district at the high school. Sally and to it. I want to speak on 2 different things tonight really quickly. First of all, as a parent, school district substitute and coach, and community member, I want to advocate for equitable and comprehensive counseling support across all schools in our district, specifically at Dunlap, Banner, and Grove. I believe the current plan is still to reassign school counselors from Dunlap, Banner, to their time at Grove, rather than hiring an additional dedicated full-time counselor for Grove School. I understand the need to support all students in the district, and I strongly believe that this plan undermines the quality and consistency of counseling services for students in all of these schools. For reasons, the board should hire an additional counselor. 1, equity. All students deserve consistent full-time access to counseling services, regardless of the school they attend. Sharing counselors across multiple campuses dilutes the level of care, access, and availability for each student. Consistency. Students build trust with their counselors over time. Splitting accounts between schools disrupts relationship building, limits their ability to develop consistently and communicate with parents, and ultimately lead to the effectiveness of the support. Increased needs in today's educational environment, social, emotional, academic, and behavioral needs of students are higher than ever. A counselor splitting time in multiple buildings cannot adequately address these growing demands at several schools. Number 4, it's professional best practices. The American School Counselor Association, the ASCA, recommends a ratio of 1 counselor to 250 students, and emphasizes that school counselors should be able to provide services to all tiers of multi-tiered systems and support the NTSS. So I would just, again, like the board to reconsider. I don't know if this is a board decision, superintendent decision, I'm not exactly sure how this all plays. This is about hiring an additional counselor, so that we don't have to split up the current counselors that are gathered. And by the way, just because I like to speak up here, just want to advocate again for our pool. It's still broken, and as I said at one of the last 2 meetings, the pool's been broken multiple times just in this last school year. It's an embarrassment, not just the fact that it's broken, just the pool itself and the locker rooms are an embarrassment when we have teams come. It's not, I think, anything that we will consider Dunlap standard, or how we like to have ourselves be by other people. I'd like to invite the board to come and see the pool. I'd happily give you a tour, give you a show of what it looks like, the process on the ceiling, the state of the locker rooms, just how challenging it is to breathe in there, even with the air filtration system. The pool's outdated, it's old, and we need to be considering steps to build a new one, whether or not it's part of this or it's just need to get a plan together to get it. We're going to keep it working.
Thank you, Annalee. That was it in terms of hands. This concludes the public participation portion of the meeting. The board will now move on to the information discussion items. School activity account reports are included in the board packet. Are there any questions? Information regarding the cooperative agreement for mutual assistance in response to crisis is available in the board packet. Are there any questions? Information regarding the permanent transfer of funds has been included in the board packet. Are there any questions? Information regarding the Hickory Grove facility dog application has been included in the board packet. Are there any questions? This concludes the information discussion item segment of the meeting. The board will now move on to the consent agenda. Are there any questions or discussions regarding items that are included in the consent agenda? Could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Tim, seconded by Youssef. Is there any discussion? Okay, Miranda, roll call vote, please.
Bergeron,
Aye.
Feldman,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Holzhauser. Aye. Sarah,
Aye.
Wyman.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. Board will now move on to the action items. The bill list, treasurer's report, district investment report, and bank statements are included in the packet. Could I have a motion to approve payment of the bills?
I should have asked in the consent, but where did that $8.5 million get transferred to? Was that for the athletic center in the fund? We went from one account to another?
Correct. We took 6.5 from working cash and 2 from transportation.
I saw 8.5 transfer though, didn't I see 8.5 get transferred?
Yeah, we're doing $6.5 million from working cash, and then $2 million for transportation. Mechanically, how it has to be done, and that's in that information item, we have to move it we can move it between all the operating funds, whatever we want to do, state law right now. And so we're going to move it to the operation maintenance fund, and then move $8.5 million from the operation maintenance fund to the capital projects fund, which is like second. So those are the transfers of the next month.
Oh, okay.
Still the budget that way, but slightly different budget. Talking to the auditor and decided that was the year.
I'll look at it again. I was confused, but okay.
All right, so that was, he was asking about 4C. Okay, from discussion, Miranda, just for the notes there. I'm gonna jump back to into the action. So approval of payment of the bills. Could I have a motion for payment of the bills?
I'll move to approve the payment of bills, the amount of $6,316,416.72 as presented.
Is there a second?
I second.
All right, is there any discussion? That was from Nick and Andrew. Roll call vote, please, Marie.
Feldman,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Holzhauser,
Aye.
Tyra,
Aye.
Wagenbach,
Aye.
Boucheron.
Okay, motion carried. Information regarding the resolutions to intervene in property tax appeal is included in the board packet. Could I have a motion to approve the resolutions?
I move to approve the resolution as presented.
Thank you, Andrew. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Nick. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Paul,
Aye.
Holzhauser,
Aye.
Tyra,
Aye.
Wagenbach,
Aye.
Boucheron,
Aye.
Feldman.
Aye. That motion carries. Information regarding the construction management contract for Wilder Waite Elementary has been included in the board packet. Could I have a motion to approve the contract?
I'll move to approve the contract as presented.
Thank you, Yusuf. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Tim. Thank you. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote.
Holzhauser,
Aye.
Tyra,
Aye.
Wagenbach,
Aye.
Boucheron,
Aye.
Feldman,
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. Information regarding the architectural services contract, also for Wilder Waite Elementary, is included in the board packet. Could I have a motion to approve the contract?
Yeah, I move to approve the contract as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Tyra. Is there a second?
Second.
To Mr. Hall, is there any discussion?
I should clarify, this isn't technically a contract, it's authorizing me to begin contract negotiations with Ratio for the project.
Noted.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion with that clarification? Okay, roll call vote.
Tyra,
Aye.
Wagenbach,
Aye.
Boucheron,
Aye.
Feldman,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Holzhauser.
Aye.
Okay, information regarding the, that's a typo there, right? Information regarding the 2025 Chromebook hardware refresh proposal has been included in the board packet. Could I have a motion to approve the Chromebook hardware refresh?
I'll move to approve the 2025 Chromebook hardware refresh as presented.
Thank you, Yusuf. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Andrew. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote.
Wagenbach,
Aye.
Boucheron,
Aye.
Feldman,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Holzhauser,
Aye.
Tyra.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. Approval, let's see, information regarding the 24, 25, and 25, 26 non-certified staff raises is included in the board packet. Can I have a motion to approve those raises?
I'll move to approve the raises for non-certified staff as presented.
Okay, Mick, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Tim, is there any discussion on the raises? Roll call vote.
Boucheron,
Aye.
Feldman,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Holzhauser,
Aye.
Tyra,
Aye.
Wagenbach.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Information regarding the 24 to 27 DESPA contract is included in the board packet. Could I have a motion to approve that contract?
I'll move to approve the contract as presented.
Thank you, Tim. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Andrew. Is there any discussion on the DESPA contract? Roll call vote, Miranda?
Feldman,
Aye.
Hall,
Aye.
Olshauser,
Aye.
Tyra,
Aye.
Wagenbach,
Aye.
Bushrun.
Okay, that motion carries. Information regarding the administrator contract renewals is included in the board packet. Could I have a motion to approve the contracts?
Just a reminder, these are for our assistant principals primarily that are on year-to-year contract. It just assures them that they have a job in the fall. The money is not included because we are still in contract negotiations with the DEA. And then once that's concluded, I'll come back to the board with whatever that dollar amount might be. But right now, it's just for time.
I'll move to approve the salary adjustments as presented.
It's a contract.
Wrong one.
H.
H.
I move to approve the contracts as presented. Is that what I said?
Kinda, we got it. Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Seth. Is there any further discussion on that? Roll call vote?
Hall,
Aye.
Olshauser,
Aye.
Tyra,
Aye.
Wagenbach,
Aye.
Bushrun,
Aye.
Feldman.
Aye. Information regarding the administrator salary adjustments is included in the board packet. And I will move to approve the salary adjustments as presented. And I need a second.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Mick.
So is this all the office staff?
Are there any discussions on that?
Yes, I'd like to make a comment.
Yep.
I'm looking at this and I'm reading through this, and I know I sent this to you, Dr. Dearman. This is a total raise of what, it's a 1% salary increase for the principals and directors, bringing their total raise to a minimum 3.5%, which is tied for the lowest in the Peoria area. This is our administrators, right?
Correct.
And you indicated to me, and to the whole board, that the estimate, the incremental increase is $16,000 annually, correct?
Correct.
All right, we're spending $2,000 a day on a delay for the training center. I think this is an insult to the administrators. I will be a no vote on this, only because, not that I don't want the administrators to get the 1%, it is because of the principle that they should get more.
Is there any other discussion on this? Yeah, and this, I'll just add that this was brought forward on a couple of different occasions, but not taken up. And I assured Dr. Dearman that it would be at the first meeting that I was able to preside over. So I want to thank him for putting it on the agenda. We have a motion and a second, and I need a roll call vote.
Olshauser,
No.
Tyra,
Aye.
Wagenbach,
Aye.
Bushrun,
Aye.
Feldman,
Aye.
Hall,
Aye.
This concludes the action items portion of the meeting. Now we're going to go into the closed session piece, and just for all the people here and viewers at home, we're making a slight change in terms of approach to closed session. I just want to make sure everyone's clear on it. Historically, there are 7 reasons why you can go into closed session according to the Open Meetings Act. And historically, we've sort of, in blanket fashion, just listed all 7, but not necessarily those are the ones that we're going to talk about. We just throw them all out there for maximum cover, so to speak. And it was brought to my attention by one of the new members. They can disclose themselves if they'd like. One of the new members who just recently went through the Open Meeting Act training, which is required, that we should be referencing which of the elements we are going into closed session regarding. And so moving forward, we're going to try and adhere to that. It may well be that some nights we're going to touch on all 7. I think we've done that in the past, but we're going to be a little more surgical about it moving forward. So for tonight, I'm going to make the motion just to kick this off, make sure we do it right, or if it's wrong, it's my fault. But I'm going to make a motion to adjourn to closed session for the following purposes, as stated in the Open Meeting Act. And one is that the appointment, employment, compensation, and performance of specific employees. Now, this is an opportunity, if any of the other board members see something else on that list, or Dr. Dearman, would like to tell me to add something to that list, we can add it to our closed session as well. Did I do that right?
Correct.
Okay, are there any other items from that list?
Okay, I would like to add student disciplinary cases, collective negotiating matters, and litigation.
Student disciplinary, collective, and litigation. Got it.
How about after the purchase or lease of real property?
You can add that.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, I made the motion. I need a second.
Well, you need to amend your motion to include those other items.
I'd like to amend my motion to include collective negotiating matters, purchase or lease of real property, and litigation.
And students.
And student
And
disciplinary.
student disciplinary. I did have it circled, I just didn't. I said this is gonna be new for everyone here. Only not doing two of them. I need a second.
A second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, that's roll call.
Bergeron,
Aye.
Feldman,
Aye.
Hall,
Aye.
Olshauser,
Aye.
Tyra,
Aye.
Wagonbach.
Aye.
It actually wasn't roll call.
Yeah.
Right, but we did it anyways.
That's my first meeting. Come on.
Okay.
All right, we're in closed session.
I kept one of the folders last time. Miranda, I'll give it back to you.
Do I?
One of these folders last time, I'll give it back to you.
guys?
We could save some money, just.
Yeah.
Can we swim?
Okay. All right, could I have could I have a motion to return to open session?
I move to return to open session.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried, and the time is 7:17. Could I have a motion to approve the human resource consent agenda?
I move to approve the human resources consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
I move to second.
And second, any discussion? Roll call vote, Miranda?
Hujon,
Aye.
Felton,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Goldwasser,
I,
Tyra,
Aye.
Wagon.
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I will move to adjourn.
Okay, Tim, second by Andrew. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. The time is 7:18. Thank you.